What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. This is the Science Dispatch podcast. My name is Cameron English. That is Dr. Chuck Dinnerstein, Director of Medicine at the American Council on Science and Health. Chuck, what's going on? Very good to see you.
It's a very good day. I've been freed from my sling. The orthopedic doctor says I may use my arm again, so I'm very excited.
Very good. So you're getting back to pickleball then? Is that what I'm hearing you say?
No. I have not been cleared for pickleball.
Okay.
I've been cleared for vacuuming and other household chores.
There you go. You got to start slow. Work your way up.
Exactly.
Okay, well, we've got an article that you wrote today. This one is called Ultra-Processed Panic from Data to Drama in 100 Words. Very exciting stuff. Here's the summary and then break down some of the details. So you write, a short newsletter item summarized a new Canadian study into a simple takeaway. Toddlers who eat more ultra-processed foods tend to develop more behavioral problems. The statement is technically accurate, but like many science headlines, it omits the context that explains what the findings truly mean. When the effect size and baseline scores are examined more closely, the story becomes far less alarming and more interesting. Okay, what's more interesting about this, Dr. Dinnerstein?
It's just hokum. I mean, we spent several months now trying to gin up unhappiness about adults and ultra-processed foods, and now we return to the final home place of the scoundrels, the children. If we can't evidence any concern on the part of your own health, at least we can worry about the health of the children. And that's this article to the T. It was a study that showed very teeny differences that made no clinical difference at all in children that were all normal. All normal. There was not a kid with a behavioral problem to be found anywhere in the study. And yet they come away saying that eating ultra-processed foods cause behavioral problems.
So there's a number of things in here that I think are important that you hit on. The first is that the relationship could go in the opposite direction because the data they have here doesn't explain mechanistically how this might happen. So it could be that kids with behavioral problems for one reason or another just happen to eat these kinds of foods. You could draw that conclusion tentatively from the same study. Is that right?
No, not at all, because there was no kids with behavioral problems.
I think, well, let me put it this way. In the world of math magic, statistically speaking, if we're...
No, not even there. First of all, these were Canadian children. So
they don't count.
They count, but they don't have behavioral problems. It's like a Canadian. They're polite to the nth degree. The children are fine. But the scores for the children were all normal. All normal. In both groups. There was nobody damaged. So it's hard to even make a case that there's a small effect that causes a damage. There was a small effect in that the score within the normal range had moved a little bit one way or another. If you want to argue that, we could argue that. But nothing ever got out of the normal range. Well, there was even close to the edge of the normal range.
You're getting worked up. I don't normally see you. I'm usually the one that's getting all fiery.
Okay, I'm going to calm down because
I like it as long as your blood pressure doesn't spike.
I take drugs.
So one of the things you point out in here is that there's only two categories where there was an increased score, and you say ready-to-eat foods and sweetened beverages accounted for only 6% and 3% of total calories, respectively. So that's really interesting. So like. When you have to break it down in these kind of subgroups, it seems like you're fishing. You're trying to find something because if there was anything wrong with the category ultra processed, and we've talked about why that's nebulous before, but presumably you should be able to show it with all of these foods that you want to put in this level 4 NOVA category, right?
Yes, and the only ones they could show it for was the traditional one that I as a grandparent use, which is to sugar the child up as much as possible and then give them back to the parents.
Thank you on behalf of all fathers. I appreciate that greatly.
But that was the only place that it was. And again, when you look at the numbers, 3% and 6%, these were the Canadians. They don't give their kids sugar.
Do you think that's what it is? And I think you're a parent and a grandparent. I have two young ones. If I pump them full of sugar, I see the behavioral difference right away. Now, I don't know if chronically that has an effect, but I would suspect there is some behavioral component to that, but it's in the essence of the food. It's the sugar itself. It's not that it's gone through a conveyor belt, right?
Right. Yes. No. Yeah. They're just mainlining the sugar directly. Come on.
One of the other things you point out in here is that food dyes, which of course we're all supposed to be mortified of, are found usually in dessert foods. But those foods in the study were not linked to any behavioral changes. So in other words, I can eat Pop-Tarts and I guess any kind of tart and any kind of cake because the food dyes aren't doing anything.
Well, you can eat the Pop-Tart. Can't grind them up. We don't want to see grinding them up the Pop-Tart because, releasing that sugar, they're making it a really free sugar. But the dye is not going to get you. I mean, and what kills me is that if you'd spent even 10 minutes reading the study, you couldn't come to any of these conclusions, let alone offer this up to the rest of the public. It's just, I don't know what to say. It's just, it was very clickable. I mean, and for people that live in the world of gist and phrases, it provides great fodder for saying, I saw the article, and it's getting the kids, but there's just nothing there.
So is this one of those situations where we're dealing with a conclusion that's already been reached? The researchers, the university press office, they can see the headlines already.
Oh, yeah.
And so the research they're going to chase after it and tell you what you want to hear. So
this was as another version, they waterboarded the data.
They weren't going to accept terrorism from this data. They were going to get out a confession.
No, they took to the data to a black ops situation, and they waterboarded it until it gave it the results that they wanted, and then they put it out there. This is probably right up there with there are weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. I don't know.
Well, the weapons of mass destruction are flaming hot Cheetos, apparently. All right, so this is a theme when we talk about ultra-processed food. Any study we look at, Dr. Dinnerstein, it seems to come down to some twist on what we're talking about now. They had to tweak the data. There's some form of p-hacking. The design is such that the study's going to give them the answer that they want. And I think that's what we're dealing with when we're talking about ultra processing, whatever that means.
We still don't know what the standard definition ultimately will be, and you're right that it has those things. But even when they don't torture the data, the effect sizes are so small that it's hard to use it as anything other than a scapegoat for other activities that we may not want to address.
I don't know what to say. I'm gonna mimic you here. So it sounds like, as always, literally as always, the answer is a little bit of moderation. Obviously, don't force stuff your kids full of sugar. Give them a balanced diet so they're getting the nutrients they need. But don't flip out if there's a little bit of food dye in one of their snacks, because you got bigger problems to worry about.
Yes, there's bigger problems in the world.
Yeah.
Let them lose outside for a few hours if you have.
And they love it. They absolutely love it, right? You'll give them a snack and say, go climb on something. They'll go do it. They'll go do it because they're all about it. They're all about it. Okay.
And it's good to do that at that age, because at that age you're mostly cartilage, unlike me, which is mostly calcium. So if you fall, everything bends and you get up and everything's fine. My age, things shatter.
Funny story. We're going on a family walk last night, and my son is riding his scooter. He's about 5, and he hasn't quite realized that you need to look forward when you're pedaling ahead. So he turns back, he goes, "Look, I'm doing it, Dad." And sure enough, goes right down. He cries for a second and, dust him off. "You're okay, bud." Gets back up, starts going again, looks back again. I'm like, dude, how many times do you have to kiss the pavement before you learn the lesson? You know what I mean? Anyways.
My wife would say it's many times because she does accuse me of not paying attention to the road and kind of turtling around and seeing what else is to see when I'm driving. It may be a habit from my earlier bicycle days.
Maybe that's because you eat too much ultra-processed food. Maybe that's the effect we should be looking for.
Now you're going to get me really in trouble.
The head swivel. Too much sugar, or I don't know, too much of... No, methylene blue is good, right? That's the one good food dye that cures everything.
I believe that's okay. And you get the head swivel from looking around to see if anybody sees you eating it.
I love it. Okay. All right, we're going to stop making dad jokes because we love doing that too. The story, once again, is called Ultra-Processed Panic, From Data to Drama in 100 Words. That is on our website, acsh.org. While you're there, go to the subscribe tab. Punch in your email address. We will send you the stories we publish. The ones you read are usually the ones we talk about. Follow us on social media. It's at ACSH.org on X. Just ACSH, American Council on Science and Health, on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you as always, and we will see you next time.